So, Saturday night and you've got four of Talk's mightiest personalities in the room. Just roll the titles, yeah? Hello and welcome to Clash of the Titans. I'm called Jeremy Kyle. You're back. Julia Hartley-Brewer was poorly. You OK?
I'm well.
Good to have you back. Michael Graham is here and Kevin O'Sullivan, who we've convinced to keep quiet during the introduction.
You'll be lucky.
Everybody has a story. I have to jump straight in. Apparently, I have to lead every week. Wes Streeting's weight loss jabs. I literally thought to myself when we started talking about this during the week on Talk, do we have to be careful? The joy of being on the home of common sense is actually we can say what we want. Let me get this absolutely right. So people who have made bad decisions and stuff food and stuff down their gullets so they're overweight, not the people who are mentally ill and disabled, but the people who are basically, let's be absolutely gluttonous, OK, are going to expect us, the taxpayer, to fund a jab that makes them thin. Now, with the greatest respect, without sounding outrageous, I would want my government, instead of creating a nanny state whereby people are seemingly able to be forgiven, forgotten and paid to do nothing, I would be wanting to talk about a better diet or some exercise or getting off your fat ass and giving something back to a society that is expected to pay for you. I literally think it's the most unbelievable thing I've ever
so
heard.
angry about this. Also, you know what? When there are no children dying of cancer, because every single treatment is available no matter what it costs, then let's worry about this. But here's the thing, as you say, people making bad choices. Look, we all know a lot of people, tried, I've put on weight and lost weight. A lot of us have done it over the years. But there's a difference between, I'm obese, I can't work. Let's talk about people who are so obese they can't work. At that point, here's the answer. Well, if you're not entitled to any benefits, you'll lose weight very quickly, and then you will be able to work. Yes. That is the solution to the problem. But what's also extraordinary is these weight loss jabs, they're hailed as these miracle jabs. Well, the pharmaceutical companies want us to believe that because they're making billions from it. And how much better than getting the NHS to bulk buy it for millions of people not working. But the reality is actually they're not miracle cures. They only 70% of people on them lose weight. They only lose 10% of their weight. Well, if you're grossly obese, 10% ain't gonna be enough. But also, as soon as you come off it, 2 or 3 years on, you've put all the weight back on.
I'll tell you what it is.
Waste of money.
Just to finish what I was going to say. I mean, I think it's a sticking plaster. I think it's appalling.
It's a very big sticking plaster.
Yeah, right over the
put it over your mouth maybe, and then that way you won't eat anything.
Yes, and a padlock on the fridge. Yeah. But apparently we live in a world where you can't say that. So we had somebody on from, I can't even remember his name, and he was defending it. And he said to me, I'll never forget this, he said to me this week, the thing is, people who are obese are depressed and they can't leave home. No, here's the thing, mate, seriously. We're giving people money to live a sedentary lifestyle. And I know this. Try fresh vegetables, try walking, try exercise.
And the idea that you're too poor to eat healthily.
This is all rubbish, right? I have this conversation with people all the time. You can make literally vegetable soup every day.
Yes, you can.
And it's very cheap and it doesn't cost any money. And it's
quite right,
too.
You don't make it very often.
I make it a lot. The trouble is I have three.
We're old mates, I'm allowed.
The trouble is I have 3 bottles of red wine.
She's just made a fat remark. Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, no, listen.
He's asking anyone to pay for him. He's asking anyone to pay for him.
I've spent a lot of money to look like this.
Exactly,
and I'm not going to change for anybody just because I think
right.
I'm overweight.
Well spent,
also,
right?
I work pretty hard, so the idea that somehow you don't work hard because you're fat is rubbish, right? Wes Streeting has got this miracle cure. The worst thing I saw this week was Keir Starmer standing outside the steps of Downing Street talking about this miracle drug as if everybody should take it. And I thought, am I watching an episode of The Handmaid's Tale? Here's a guy now pushing drugs onto the population. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not having it.
That's the way I feel. It basically comes down to this. Mass medication of millions of people by government order. What could possibly go wrong? They say there's no side effects with these drugs.
There are loads of side effects.
All drugs have side effects. And also, this plays into, this right-on kind of woke government is playing into some kind of stereotype that fat people are lazy. I don't want to stereotype Mike, but he is not bloody lazy, if you know what I mean.
I don't think
and loads of people who are generously proportioned are very hard-working. And how dare this government categorise anyone who's hard on a few pounds as lazy?
I get that, but there are people. When that guy started telling me that everybody who doesn't work is who's unemployed is mentally ill, disabled, and that's why they put on weight. Can we be honest? There are lazy people in this country who are taking advantage.
There are lazy thin people.
Lazy thin people, exactly.
I mean, one of our rival broadcasters went off on this for a couple of days this week. And
rival broadcaster?
There are other broadcasters. But they had this guy on. He was 25 stone. He was sitting there saying, I eat perfectly healthily. It's like, Well, you don't, do you? I mean, you don't. You're 25 stone. You literally look like you're a Mr. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not eating
Right.
healthy. And there's some birds sitting there in a very large garden saying, well, I tried all the diets, but none of them worked.
Did you
And
just
they
say
said-
birds?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that.
No, but she was just, I
I
mean, she
love
was a fat bird sitting
Right.
there going, I can't lose.
I just wanted to finish
I can't lose weight, she's saying. But it's like, because I go on these diets and then they don't work. Well, yeah, they do work. It's just you don't stick with them.
stick to them, right?
I've done
Is
the
the
fast.
government
I did the
really
fast
gonna
day
pay
100
for it?
diet. It absolutely works. Lost 2 stone, never put it back on again.
Is the government really going to pay for these fat jabs for everyone for the rest of their lives? Because the cost of that is just astronomical.
That's why the
Well, it's
pharmaceutical
ridiculous.
company's pushing it.
And the
Exactly.
NHS has already come out the day after they wanted this to be the new thing, saying, well, we couldn't handle it. Can you imagine giving it to the NHS? We're trying to get a doctor's appointment for
taking the medical side apart and pharmaceutical companies, I get all of that. To me, it's endemic of a government, right? And a society now that's saying, do you know what? We'll help sort of lazy, feckless people, and we'll screw pensioners.
Yeah.
We'll stick up and let prisoners out of prison, but sod the victims. It seems to
But
be
also
upside down. Help yourself, for God's sake,
Total
right?
lack of self-responsibility. But
Yes.
that is part of that Labour nanny state attitude. And the Tories have been just as bad over recent years. But this idea that everything wrong is something that could be solved by the state.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do with
Mother
you.
government.
Personal
It's not your
responsibility,
fault.
take it.
And this engenders a kind of dependence mentality.
Yeah, it does.
I've seen so many people on television, fat guys and fat women, going, "How am I supposed to lose weight if you don't give me drugs?"
Yeah.
I don't know. Eat less,
Right.
exercise a bit,
Exactly.
that kind of thing.
I had a great
literally
text to
works.
finish the story. I told you this earlier. This bloke went, hello, my name's Christopher. I'm from Worthing. I'm unemployed, but I'm very thin. Well, I get the financial equivalent of a jab.
Exactly right.
Can I point out also, by the way, this jab apparently is £200 a month, right? It's just under 50 quid a week, right? These people, if you're that fat, I'm guessing you're spending more than that on your takeaways, Eddie.
Yeah.
You're not getting that from eating, pork chop
Right.
and broccoli every night.
Pork chop and broccoli.
So here's the
Lovely.
thing. It's a really simple solution.
That's
Why
their
don't
chip
you
bill.
pay for it yourself?
Yeah.
And then you can afford it.
No,
Lovely.
you're absolutely right. But it's ever since COVID this has been the case, hasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
and you
that's
get a lot
right.
of young people now saying, well, I need help with this. I can't sort it out myself.
This will go
the
down like a
government
lead
needs to
balloon.
give me some money.
I did a show once, living on unemployment benefit. I was based in Preston for a week, which was an experience. And I promise you, at 7 o'clock every single morning, when I stood in front of a camera with the rain coming down, all the curtains were closed. The sky dishes were glinting in the morning sunlight. There were new cars. It's priorities. Take bloody responsibility of your lives. We've got to move on. I never thought you'd bring this to the party. This is great. Julia Hartley-Brewer, over to you.
Thomas Tuchel, the
Thomas
new
Tuchel.
England manager.
Yeah,
Disgraceful.
Oh, shut up,
We've already had foreign managers,
Yeah.
of course, two previous foreign managers of the England team. We've got a Dutch manager of the England women's
Both of them
team.
crap.
But there is a point when you just say, I'd put a German manager of the England team. Now, the Sun front page this week was
Yeah.
absolutely
It was brilliant. Yeah.
which was basically, was it Fußball?
Football's coming home.
German football's coming home, yeah.
Yeah, I did German O-level. You think
Yeah.
I could remember
O-level?
this?
I think it was
Yeah, I got you, Greg. I got
O-level.
you,
I
Greg.
think it was football common in house.
In house.
That was brilliant.
Nachthauser. But
Yeah.
anyway, this is it. Thomas Tuchel is going to be taking over as the England manager in January, of course, interim manager after Gareth Southgate. And here's the thing. We all know, if he starts winning matches, we'll all love him. We'll adopt him as
Right.
our own. He's a bit of an Anglophile anyway. But the question is, why do we not have, given that we've got the Premier League, we've got like the greatest, most lucrative, busiest football league in the world.
Yeah.
Why do we not have enough homegrown
But
talent?
there's
Why do
hardly
we
any.
need to go abroad?
There's hardly any England managers in the Premier League, though. I mean, I can't remember the name of the guy.
My boy would have
who's-
walked that job, Eddie Howe, at Newcastle.
No one has
don't know.
won the Premier
No, I
League
know.
who was an England manager.
Exactly, because I
Wait,
can't
English manager.
tell you the last time an England manager actually even talked on behalf of a team in the Premier League. I guess you're talking.
Eddie Howe, Newcastle.
Eddie Howe. But I mean, he's not exactly
Yeah, but he
a
hasn't
genius,
won
is he?
anything.
The thing
manager.
is, right, there's two
He's as good
schools
as
of
Tuchel.
thought.
He wasn't great in Bournemouth.
We were talking about it last night. There's two schools of thought, right? The school of thought that says, really, can't you find an English manager? Can't you give an Englishman the chance to run the country? You look at other countries, would the German national team have an English manager? No.
No, they wouldn't.
And then you have the other side of the coin that Kevin refused to accept last night, which is that England football fans are so pissed off, it'll be 60 years in 2 years' time, that if you say to them, hear me out and say, this guy might
have to,
better
aren't
than
we?
Lee Carsley, yeah. He'll give you a chance to win. But will he? I don't know. They wanted Guardiola.
I'll tell you this. from you on your media elite pedestal. I tell you, we media elites and all the football elites, we are out of step with the people of this country. And you're quite right, Julia. We should find someone like Eddie Howe. Why didn't the FA go for Eddie Howe, who would have been a great choice? Oh, because he's in contract. It would have cost us a lot of money to get him out of that contract.
Well, maybe he didn't want the job.
Well, spend the money. Spend the money. As you say, Jez, Germany, Italy, Spain, who all win trophies with monotonous regularity, they would never consider a foreigner as a manager. Why are we doing it? And there is a thing. I mean, I made a joke this morning. It was only a joke. We fought 2 world wars for this. But it's not about...
Did you make that too?
So you lot. Yeah. It's not about that kind of... And I said it on the I said it on air last night as well. But it's not about that kind of nationalism. It's about football nationalism. And Germany are the old enemy.
It's part of the
and there's something wrong about this. It's wrong.
All right, calm down. I said this, what happens when you get to, because now we've had Gareth Southgate and his incredible ability to get to finals and lose them. Yeah. And we're all going, but he's done so well.
We were pleased he got to finals.
That's an English mentality.
No, I'm not. I don't care. If you get to the final of Wimbledon, you want to win it. You don't want to come second. You don't want to come second in the World Cup or the Euros, right? But if there is a game against Germany and Thomas Tuchel is the manager and it goes to penalties, who's he going to want to win? Is he really going to want England to win? I don't think he is. He's going to want Germany to win.
At the when we play Germany...
Do you really think that would be the difference?
Well, because I think in the end, you're loyal to your country, surely, to God. You're not...
Not if you're a Labour politician.
No.
You're not.
I mean, remember
maybe
this...
we should have German
When we play Germany,
which
national anthem does he
We'd be a lot more right-wing than this lot.
The one thing I would say, arguing...
Top quality manager.
Arguing against myself, he's a terrific manager.
Yeah, he is.
And the Germans are like Americans. To them... Second is for losers. And the problem with Britain, with England, is we don't have that attitude.
Yeah. I hate that English attitude of we got not got to the final. We did really well. No, we didn't. We didn't. You might as well have come 16th, you idiot. You came second.
Better than we've done. The key thing is we've got a batch of amazing players. They are world class.
Who's your favourite player in the England team at the moment?
Well, he wasn't in the last. I do like a bit of Grealish, but it's purely leg space.
Great player.
He should have
played.
It's only leg spaced. It's nothing else.
He's a father now. You have to leave him alone.
I don't think that's...
She could mother him.
She could. That would be interesting.
I don't think the conversation would be up too much, but
I mean, that's the other thing. The Labour Party, sorry to bring them into this, but, they've got a bit of a problem with winning and losing as well. Because this week we found out that Rachel Reeves, who's been calling herself a chess champion for quite a long time, actually came 26th in the chess championship she was in. And so that apparently now, just getting into the championship makes you a champion.
Well, as we know, she's not so good with numbers.
Not really.
Right, you can hold it there. We've got to get a break. Stick around there. More to come on Clash of the Titans. We're tackling the surge of foreign criminals and Elon Musk. And we might talk about a man who tried to win the World Conquer Championships with a metal one, like me. Anyway, coming back into it. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Clash of the Titans, Saturday night. Kevin O'Sullivan, chill your beans. Just chill, man. When you combusted then, what's happening?
Well, I'm a famously angry man.
Can I just ask you before you go on, who's the manager of Fulham?
Marco Silva.
Oh, that's all right then.
Portuguese. Thank you.
Sorry, that's absolutely brilliant.
By the way, in Marco we trust. Now he's the kind of foreigner I would have as an English manager.
So you are basically a two-faced.
Two-faced. That's me. There's 2 things I don't like about me. That's my face. Right, let's move on. We're going to talk about foreign. This was a talk exclusive this week. It's incredible exclusive, revealing that 120,000 crimes last year were committed by immigrants and foreigners. The vast majority of them violent. A lot of thievery, a lot of burglary, shoplifting, and finally a lot of drug dealing as well, but mostly violent, which I think is really worrying.
It was assaults and shoplifting, if you know, is gang orientated, isn't it?
So this means that this is just one more indication that our migrant crisis is out of control. And do you want to know half the reason? I mean, obviously there are so many reasons, like letting them come across the channel, giving them free everything when they get here, etc., etc. But I think in the end, it's our judges, because when asylum seekers seek, only last week we learned of this guy who twice was jailed, twice was deported, broke back into the country, and then applied for asylum and said, in the meantime, I've married my Lithuanian girlfriend, and we've had a baby. And therefore the judges said, well, I'm afraid his right to family life trumps everything else.
And none of them actually British.
Look at the law. Look at the law. He was Albanian, of course.
She was Lithuanian.
The law doesn't say that. It says that if you're a lawbreaker, if you break our laws, that trumps everything else.
And as we would expect if we went to another country as well. But I think what's fascinating about this, because this was a freedom of information request that Talk did, and it's 120,000 crimes committed by foreigners. This was from the police forces that answered, which was most of them. But you can extrapolate from that, it's higher. But actually, that's just the recorded crimes. That's where they know the identity of the person who's committed the crime, let alone actually had them convicted. Because don't be silly, we don't convict people within a year unless it's a riot after
we do, far-right rioters.
Only
24
but this
hours.
is the thing. Given that
yes.
most of the crimes we're looking at, theft, assault, shoplifting, actually, I mean, some of those we're looking at a below 3% clear-up rate. The odds are you could actually extrapolate that. I mean, on a huge basis, the number of crimes being committed by those who are foreign is huge. A huge number of the people behind bars in this country are actually
more than
10,000.
10,000. Yeah, are foreigners. A huge number of those being Albanians.
But you can't send them back, apparently. I had this argument the other day with a judge.
But this is something, if you talk about it, you're suddenly xenophobic and bigoted and anti-foreign, as opposed to saying, this is a problem. We've got our own wrong-uns. They're born here. We have to deal with our own wrong-uns. Let's not import other people.
But do you know what they said? Do you know what the judge said to me? Do you know what judge said to me? The reason you can't send them back, he said to me on the show the other day, they didn't commit the crime in this country, they committed it in your country. I actually don't blame the judges. The government needs to put laws on the statute book that make it easier to get rid of these people.
Yes, that's not the case. The law is, if they break the law here, then whatever their other claim is, they have to be deported.
All right.
And yet
Apart from the human
judges
rights
have reinterpreted
human rights,
that if you've got a right to a family life, that trumps everything. And as you say, Julia, 120,000, they're just the people who got caught.
Yep.
What we're talking about here is probably 750,000 crimes committed by 10% of the population.
Michael?
And you will have seen this week as well that in addition to doing deals up to 2032, 2036 for asylum-seeking centres in Kent,
500 million.
Which is weird, because the gangs have been smashed by them.
They should have been, yeah. But
and I don't think you'll be in power for 10 years.
But also, here's what else has been happening this week. They've been going around looking for more hotels, despite the fact that they said they're going to do away with sending asylum seekers to hotels.
Well, maybe because they can't find enough private properties
for more hotels to put them in. So the problem is not going to go away. In fact, if anything's going to get worse this week.
The duplicity of this
I've got a question. I've got a question.
O'Sullivan at the back, yes.
Could anyone tell me the number of evil people smuggling gangs that have been smashed by Keir and Yvette's border security command? Okay, Jeremy.
None.
Yes, that's right.
But they've appointed the new border commander, so that's the job done.
No, he wasn't the first, second or third choice.
But nevertheless,
and on his first day, he said it wasn't about the gangs, against what his boss said.
200 grand a year, his name's Martin Hewitt. Easy money.
Did you also notice that there's been more illegal migrants arriving in this country in the last, since Labour got in? And I know you're going to say it's because it's summertime.
It's because of the weather. Because actually none of these policies make a difference. It's the sodding weather.
No, but the point is that it's quite a sort of interesting indicator, is it not, of what they've done to stop the boats. They've actually got more people coming since they got in than the whole previous 6 months the Tories were in.
And by the way, the EU is now looking for its own Rwanda scheme, which, of course, Keir Starmer said was inhumane and a gimmick.
Yeah.
Well, also, anything that we do...
You've
got to remember that we voted for Brexit in this country, so we're horrible, horrible bigots. But in the EU, they're all wonderful and lovely, despite the fact they vote for what Labour would call far-right parties. And because they've done that, they've finally decided they're going to have to get to grips with this issue. Now, here's the thing. This country's not going to get to grips with this issue. We know that. Labour have... Well, Tories claim to have the will but didn't have the way. Look, Labour don't have the will and don't have the way. I can tell you right now that there are going to be some very, very questionable parties that are going to be aspiring to take over this country.
I agree with you.
Because if the mainstream parties keep telling everybody this isn't an issue, nothing to see here, when people can plainly see it happening on their own streets, people will vote accordingly.
Do you know what? I think that's the truest thing of the whole show. You know this whole thing about the riots, and you know, if you dare to complain, you're perceived by this government to be far right. they seemingly don't or are not interested in, and I use the phrase every day, you'll take the mickey, jams, just about managing. Married, 2 kids, never broken the law, worked their heads, both of them off, just about managed, pay their bills, never committed crime, must look at the... Nearly said the wrong word. going on in this country, the that's going on in this country, the fact that you can come here and have your backside wiped, and these people, and you're right, must go... What have I got to do? I do everything right in this country.
Well, they should do is put weight on,
badly.
lose their job, and then they could get a free
an
jab.
injection. There we go. One to go. It says here, save the best for last. Michael Graham.
Is it my turn already?
Yes, it is.
Well, I must talk about the incredibly successful and remarkable...
Did you say you must?
I must. Yes,
Must.
I must.
That's quite clever.
Yes, thank you very much. Because
He's done this before.
The summit of business that was held, right?
Yes.
Sponsored by a load of companies like Octopus Energy, like Lloyds Bank. Funnily enough, both of those companies were part of the contribution that was made. At the end of it, we were told by Keir Starmer that 38,000 jobs had been created, and also that something like £36 billion or possibly as much as £60 billion had been invested. And you know what? None of that's true.
No.
They have not created any jobs at all. Most of the money that has supposedly been promised has come into the Red Ed Miliband Fund, which has come from all of the auctions of all the green energy crap, right? And they've actually got one thing that they've done, which I'm going to read to you because it's so ridiculously worded that I don't know really what else to say. But it's down in a place called Weybridge, right? And it's money that's coming in. I can't find it. Anyway, it's money. It's money that's. I'm not going to keep you waiting. It's money that's coming in for basically what sounds like a dentist's, right? But they're calling it an oral health centre in Weybridge, right? Now, I imagine there's probably quite a few dentists in Weybridge, but they're claiming that it might create as many as 20 jobs.
Oh, well, in that case...
I mean, and of course, the main reason why I mentioned Elon Musk at the beginning...
An oral clinic offering 20 jobs.
Yes, in Weybridge, yeah.
By the way,
Anyway.
the Tories are acting like...
Let him finish.
They're like acting like they reinvented the wheel. We have this...
This is Labour in now.
Labour are acting
Labour
like,
in now.
The Tories had this every year. This country has these business conferences, these investment
don't
conferences
create
every
any
single
jobs
year.
at all.
They don't achieve anything.
And of course,
Louise Haig nearly derailed it.
The man of the moment, of course, Elon Musk, who only just this past weekend did something quite remarkable, something that I've never seen the like of, where he managed to get a rocket to come backwards, down to Earth, slow down, and be captured by this thing.
I know,
amazing.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? This kind of chopstick. You're looking at me as if you haven't seen it. I haven't. You haven't seen it? Oh my God!
It's the great.
Oh my God!
It's like a sci-fi movie.
You know me so well. I haven't. So what happened?
It's called news, Jeremy.
Shut up, you. What?
So he sent a rocket up into space.
Right, that's quite impressive.
You know, it used to blow up, right?
Yeah.
And it used to end up as a little lunar landing thing.
Yeah.
Or it would come back into the sea.
I love the way you describe
This one came back down as a rocket.
Where have I been?
Right?
Like a huge chimney. Like a massive flaming chimney.
The booster comes back down. The whole point is you can't have affordable space flight if you're going to basically lose it.
And we didn't invite him to the
It's like every Boeing
wasn't there.
747 being blown up after every flight. It doesn't work.
Why didn't we invite him to the investment?
We know why.
He doesn't like him.
No, he's the richest man in the world.
Yep.
He's one of the cleverest people that I've ever come across, right? He's incredibly innovative.
Yep.
He's invented Tesla cars. He's invented robots. This was just last week, by the way. He had robots walking around, talking to people. Then he brings this incredible rocket down. And you know what old Jonathan Reynolds said? Well, there are thousands of people that want to come to our summit. And people are going, well, yeah, but there aren't thousands of people like Elon Musk.
No.
Right? And they don't invite him. You know why? Because he was writing about the riots and how stupid the government
wrote a hurty tweet.
Wrote a hurty tweet and said that, you get locked up in England, in Great Britain now, for writing things on Facebook
Which
they
is
don't like.
true.
Right, which is true. But they allow children to be murdered by people who have come to this country from elsewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Elon Musk for PM, I'd say, judging by what we just heard.
The greatest businessman on the face of the planet is not invited to our business conference. It's pathetic. And, he is 20 years ahead of everyone else. Yeah, he wanted to be there. But Keir Starmer wanted to pursue his...
But exactly. I only have one thing to say to you on the basis of all this investment, and that is GB Energy, because the answer from the government every single time, whenever you talk about any of these things about innovation and jobs and things like that, they always say, but one of their greatest achievements in their first 100 days, we've created GB Energy. Now, no one is yet to explain what it is. It's an investment thing, but it's got less money to invest.
Does it create energy?
It doesn't create energy, doesn't produce anything, doesn't do anything.
It's going to produce 650,000 jobs.
Well, that's what they say.
No, but hold on a second. They've cut 100,000 jobs because they got rid of the oil and gas
industry.
industry.
To produce 650,000 jobs.
I found the thing I was looking for.
Graham,
and just have a listen.
Tech-savvy Graham.
Just have a listen to this, right? And this tells you all you need to know about the business summit. something. A company called Haleon, Haleon, I've never heard of them either, has received planning permission to develop a new £130 million global oral health innovation centre in Weybridge.
It's a dentist.
Sounds like a place you go for a blowjob, doesn't it?
Sorry?
Sounds like a place you go for a blowjob. 130 million quid.
In that case, a good idea.
I've got something to admit to you. My dentist is in Weybridge. This is actually true from living down there.
But does he call himself a health innovation global oralist?
No, he never offered me any oral at all. He drilled me a couple of times. So
You should have asked more nicely.
You can't let this stop without paying tribute to the Transport Secretary Louise Haig's best efforts to completely ruin £1 billion.
I agree with her. I agree with her. And actually, Grant Shapps, all the transport.
I heard Julia say this is right.
This is it. So two years ago, P&O, owned by this other company,
I
DP,
remember.
they basically caused
DP
all
World,
of DP World. They caused all of their ferries in. Every single member of staff was taken off board, sacked summarily. They replaced them with agency staff on not just half the pay, on below minimum wage because they weren't obeying British laws. They were using international maritime laws. It was outrageous. Even Grant Shapps, the then Tory Transport Secretary, called them the pirates of the sea.
I have to say,
they are pirates, and they absolutely are wrong.
Louise Hay might have been right on that.
We could do with £1 billion.
She might have been right on that.
Never mind that.
This will be the only time I ever agree with her.
I don't think she was right this week to say to train guards, if you do a 6-day week, we'll give you a £300 bonus at the same time as screwing pensioners.
It's a 5-day week.
We're out of time.
Are we?
We're out of time, team. Thank you so much indeed. Listen, that's another one done. Can I just say, you can catch us all week on tour. Well, not all of us all week, and some of us only do 3 days. He's here 6:30. He's amazing. She's here from 10 a.m. She's utterly bloody brilliant. He's on at 7 and just wipes up the mess of the rest of us. Have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday, 9 o'clock. Ta-ra!